Unlocked. Welcome to a special Monday night episode. We are doing Britney Spears. We read her book, parts of it. We're reading it. And we're going to go over chapters 1 through 3 and just like kind of summarize and see what it is. You can see we're not in the studio because we are actually in my room because we are not recording this for the podcast. We are only doing this for Facebook and YouTube and Rumble.
Yes, we're on Rumble.
We're on Rumble now. Yes, we are. We'll start uploading our videos to that, and then that way we won't be censored. Because fuck censorism.
Yes, we don't want that.
So, Britney, chapter 1.
Well, chapter 1 is a whopping 9 pages.
They're really short chapters. And Britney Spears jumps around a lot. So it's just like, I think that she didn't have a ghostwriter. I think that these are definitely just her thoughts flowing without any ADD medicine.
Yes.
It just kind of goes. I'm sure she had an editor, and if anything, she probably had someone typing it, like, for her as she spoke.
Like dictation.
Like, yeah, but, you'll see. Well, you'll see.
I have a lot of questions
I have a lot of concerns and questions.
Yeah, deep concerns and questions.
So really quick, she talks about how she was a country girl. She went to church. I want to say she lived on the Bible Belt, but I don't think Louisiana is part of the Bible Belt. The Bible Belt is like Georgia, but Georgia's next to Louisiana, isn't it? Kind of like along the same.
Whatever. I don't know, but she was born in Macomb, Mississippi.
Mississippi's on the Bible Belt, so yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, anyways, she should have had a wholesome childhood because her parents made them wear like matching dresses. The whole town knew everybody's business. It was very like everybody knew everybody. Doors were unlocked. Just like being in Mayberry. So it should have been
very small town.
Small town USA should have been very, this wholesome childhood. And as we find out, she is not her whole family dynamic is not so shiny, happy, wholesome.
It's very chaotic and dysfunctional.
Definitely dysfunctional. So she said that she used singing as her sword because in the Bible it says her sword is
the tongue.
Tongue is her sword.
Is a sword.
Yes. So, hi guys. Thanks for watching.
Hi.
So, she used singing as her sword, and then she attended a Christian school, and I'm wondering if it was private school, like where it was like a bunch of money and her parents had like money at this point.
I think it probably was because at this point they also had a housekeeper.
Yeah.
And
so she had hired help, but then in the same breath, in literally the same sentence, she's like, oh, and I did all the laundry and ironing when we couldn't afford help.
Yeah, so they had their ups and downs financially.
I guess so, yeah. So they did have extra music money, and the housekeeper would sing gospel music. So it was just funny because it was just like in the same sentence. Like, I had to do all the laundry and ironing when our hired help wasn't there. What?
So some of her life was a little charmed.
Just a little bit of it.
The thing that got me was that she was born in Macomb, Mississippi, and she went to school in Macomb, Mississippi. However, she lived 25 miles away in Kentwood, Louisiana. So why did they drive her 25 miles to go to school?
Because it was a private school.
Just because they wanted her to have that,
the private
Christian
education.
It was a Christian private school.
That would make sense. So I liked how she said that this is a quote from her book. Singing takes me to a mystical place where language doesn't matter anymore, where anything is possible. And I'm like, that's how people feel when they read books in general, like fantasy books, like they're taken away. Like that's how you can go visit other places is through books. And what I thought was cool was that, she also said that music stopped the noise.
The noise of the verbally abusive family life with constant fighting from her parents, and her father was a really bad alcoholic.
So her book goes back and forth with all this. So at this point in the book, I don't even know if we knew that her dad was an alcoholic yet, because
No, we did.
Oh, we did know that? Okay.
Yeah.
So when she was age 8, she started recording herself. And I thought that was, like, pretty cool that she was, like, doing all that so young. And then, okay.
Yeah, because she was born in 81, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't have
89, yeah.
they didn't have TikTok and all that, like
they didn't even have, like,
cell phones or anything.
Yeah, like, you had to have, like, a video camera, like, a big on your shoulder, Goldberg status.
Yeah.
So then it goes over back, so it jumps around a lot. Next is that the grandmother lost a child. Her grandmother on her dad's side lost a child when the child was 3 days old. And the grandfather, June, put poor Grandma Jean in the freaking hospital, in the psych ward.
In an asylum.
Because she was probably sad, depressed, whatever, because she lost her baby. And she ended up shooting herself 8 years after the baby died over the baby's grave. And so it's obvious, and she was put on lithium and all sorts of stuff in 1967, I believe. And that's pretty much like experimental. The code of ethics for psychology and stuff didn't come about until the 70s. So they put her pretty much in a padded room and was like, here, take some drugs, bye.
Yeah, and she was only 31 years old when she shot herself.
Yeah.
She was very young.
Not getting the right help that she needed. So, June was then a single father to...
Oh, and we should mention that woman's name is Emma Jean Spears, and Britney's middle name is Jean.
After Grandma, yeah.
Yeah.
So, what's her name? Emma Jean? That was
Emma Jean Spears,
okay.
Yeah.
So then June, which was a grandpa, which I always thought was a woman's name, but apparently it can be a boy's name as well.
Which is the widow of Emma Jean.
I guess that June was super, like, abusive in his own right and would make Britney's father, Jamie, like, overly play basketball, like, push himself and exercise.
Well, he wouldn't even let him come in the house until he did like 100 baskets.
Yeah.
After he already had his whole day of his normal
exercise, PE, whatever he was doing, basketball practice. Yeah, basketball practice.
Yeah, you couldn't even come in the house.
So he really pushed his children. This man went on to have 10 children with 3 different wives, and he was a police officer. And he was an asshole. His second wife ended up in the same exact insane asylum as the first one.
So he's just
coincidence. She's just
throwing
the wives away onto the next. And it was like known in town that all the Spears men treated women like horrible. And I'm not surprised, because if that's how the father was, then the boys are seeing it, and they're doing the same thing, right?
And this is Britney Spears' father's parents.
Yes.
So, and everyone that knows the story of Britney, knows that her father is one of the ones that pushed for the conservatorship.
He was the only one, I think, that pushed for the conservatorship. Like, he started it.
And we already know that she was put on lithium and basically put in a mental ward on her own.
Which is exactly what
his dad did
to his mom.
His mom and his stepmom.
Yes. So, the plot thickens. We find out that grandfather June was sexually abusing Jamie's half-sister from the age of 11 until she ran away at the age of 16. So, makes you wonder if that half-sister is from a child from the second wife, And that is what made the second wife go fucking insane and have to go into the mental hospital.
Probably, and he probably didn't want to get in trouble for it, so he's
a policeman.
Sent her away to the mental ward. And yeah, he was a Baton Rouge police officer.
So,
And you know, the sad thing is, like, I have heard that police officers kind of have a bad rap for being abusive.
Yeah, like,
I don't know.
Spousal abuse and stuff. I don't know
if that's true, but he definitely was.
Because they like to have, like, supposedly it's like they like to have the control over people, and that's what they like. And that's why they want to be a police officer, to get that control.
I mean, but it's bad enough to sexually abuse a child, but your own child?
Yeah.
I mean, it's bad. It's really bad. I'm glad that she ran away.
Yeah, it's the one person that you're supposed to trust, and you can't trust that. So, anyways, like his father, Jamie pushed his son, which is Britney Spears' brother,
Brian,
at sports. So it was just the chain was never broken. The chain of abuse. And
basically copied what his father did, minus the sexual abuse
that we know of.
We haven't gotten far.
But we haven't even gotten that far. Who knows? Maybe we'll find something else out.
So far, he's mirroring.
Yeah.
What's it?
Mirroring
his dad. And then we should note that Britney Spears' father was 13 when his mom shot herself, just to kind of put that into perspective, because that would be a traumatic
13-year-old. So he was
13, so
he was 4 when mom was pregnant and lost baby brother, and then 8 years later he would have been, or he was 5 when that happened, when he lost his baby brother. Then 8 years later, when she killed herself, he would have been 13.
Yeah. And I mean, that is a traumatic in itself event that, you know, I'm sure scarred him emotionally and then caused him to do things.
And then at that same time, he's 13, starting basketball practice and all this, your dad's pushing you. And then to find out that your dad is sexually abusing your sister.
Your half-sister. And, you know, he must have known, because how did Brittany know? She must have...
Well, we'll get to that. Yeah. So, okay. So, then they go into how Jamie was, like, drank into oblivion, would disappear for days. He was, like, a mean drunk. So, he wasn't, like, a happy-go-lucky me on rum drunk. It was, like, me on tequila drunk.
No, he would, like, disappear and just basically,
never
like,
come
he
back.
didn't have a family. He disappeared on big important occasions.
Yeah. Yes, and we get into that in a little bit too.
And then,
so what I don't get though, she jumps around, so we'll be jumping around following her book exactly how she is saying it. She goes in to say how by the time that she met her grandfather, the child raping one, he was just really patient, loyal, loving. Everything was great. Why are you around your grandfather who molested his child until she ran away for 5 fucking years?
And
what is wrong with people?
So that
was she sexually assaulted when
that's
she was
what I was
a child?
gonna say. That leads me to believe there was more victims. I highly doubt that it was only the one.
For sure.
I do not believe that people get caught the first time they do anything. And I pretty sure that probably it happened with other people in the family. And the fact that the elders or like the aunts and uncle, like whatever, didn't protect the kids
because
they
wouldn't
knew
have just
what
been
happened to the point where the girl literally ran away, because obviously she can't go to the police. He is the police. Nobody's gonna do anything about it. So they just kept putting him around more potential victims. They didn't isolate him from the kids.
No, and
so
they
that's disgusting. I don't like that.
Yeah, no. At some point, the family needs to step up and take responsibility.
And then what is that teaching the women in the family?
That they
even
don't mean
more
shit.
that they don't matter. And they can.
So
they're trash, basically.
That was
men can do whatever they want.
Yeah, that was such just like a what the fuck moment. So
Then
mom's side. Then she goes into
she starts talking about her mother's side
her
of the
mom's
family.
side, so Lynn's side. And Lynn's mom came from London, and she was very like London elegant, like British.
Very
Fancy.
sophisticated.
And her family loved singing and playing instruments and all of that. Grandma met Grandpa when Grandpa was stationed in the service in London, then took Grandma back to Louisiana, and Grandma spent the rest of her life miserable there because there was no like city lights. There was no shopping. There was a cow to milk and cleaning and laundry. She was taken to a farm. She was taken from the big city. It'd be like going.
She was wealthy too. She was wealthy.
She had money. Her
She
mom
had
would
lots of
send
money.
her money and everything. So she had money in Louisiana.
But
there's no stores.
There's no high society.
No. Not in
There's
Louisiana.
no big
It's not even like Georgia
Well, maybe they
or
have big
North
hats in the
Carolina.
South.
No, not in Louisiana. It wouldn't have been like that.
Yeah. She's literally milking cows.
Yeah.
They moved to a dairy farm, so yeah, she literally was.
So Grandma had enough money and brought up Lynn with money. So Brittany's mom always had the good stuff, the fun stuff, the nice clothes, this and that. And
you know what was interesting for me?
What?
Is that Britney Spears' grandfather, he was from the Mediterranean island of Malta.
Fun.
So I'm like, oh, I didn't know.
What? I read that, but I just kind of skimmed over it.
How
did he end up in Louisiana? How did he end
Well,
up?
that's just where he was born, and then his the family
came
moved
to America,
and he was a soldier and all that. you know?
Yeah, that's interesting.
But
so,
I just thought I never would have thought, like, Malta. Okay, Brittany.
Yeah.
Malta heritage.
I don't even know where that is, but sure.
Mediterranean.
Yeah, over there. We're so great with geography. So Lynn met Jamie, and by the time they had Brittany was born, Brittany says the honeymoon was over, and that is the end of chapter 1. Do you have anything else to add for chapter 1?
Just that
that's literally how it ended.
Just that Brittany's parents met at a basketball game. The mom saw Brittany's dad playing basketball. He was really, really good at basketball, and people used to
I'm not surprised because his
watch
dad,
him. Yeah,
his dad pushed him so fucking hard.
Yeah, he was like a star player because of his dad, and so people would travel far to watch him play, and the mom was very impressed, and that's how they got together. I don't know what this is, but
That's how they got together. So moving on to Brittany chapter 2, which this one is only 4 pages as well. All these are such small chapters, guys. Like, it's crazy.
There is a lot of information though in the short chapters, because that was a lot to go over in 3 pages.
Well, yeah, that's true too.
Yeah,
it's just
she does
jumpy.
Bullet points almost.
Yeah, it's just very jumpy. So her mom, Lynn Spears, was cut off when she got married, and so mom and dad were poor. And Brittany says that her parents were young, but mom was 21 and dad was 23 when they got married. That to me,
That's
for the
pretty
80s,
average.
it's not by today's standards, I feel like it's young because a lot of people are waiting until their 30s to settle down and have kids and all that, And I just feel like, maybe it is a little bit, but it's not when she said, oh, my parents were really young, I was thinking 15, 16, because you're in Louisiana. What else do you have to do? Right? I totally thought that
we both want to stretch our legs.
I know. We're not used to being on a bed doing this.
I was already telling her I can't work in this environment. Actually, I'm really comfortable now.
Oh my gosh, your battery's red.
It's okay. We still have time. There's only 3 pages per chapter, so we should be okay.
So, so in 1977, big brother was born, Brian. And dad became a super heavy drinker, and he even missed Brian's first birthday, which was sad.
What a douche.
And then on Christmas Eve, he went out drinking and forgot to come home for Christmas Day, and that is when Lynn drew the line. There's the line. He crossed it. Fuck you. But June, Jamie's father, the molester, remember, and his new wife, so wife number 3, most likely, begged for Lynn to take him back. So all I'm picturing is this drunken Jamie at their house, and then the new wife being like, no. You motherfucker, your 25-year-old son or 28-year-old son cannot come here when he's all drunk and fucked up.
Yeah,
you need to
take him back. We don't want him.
Yeah.
And she actually did file for divorce.
Yeah, she filed for divorce.
In 1980.
Uh-huh.
So
she was serious, but yeah.
It never went through.
Nope. So whenever he came back, though, it must have scared the fuck out of him, because when he came back...
But wait.
There's more.
Think about something.
What?
If the divorce would have went through, Britney would have never been born.
Yep.
Potentially, if they didn't hook up after.
Probably wouldn't have been born.
She probably never would have been born.
Yeah.
So that's like kind of a interesting thought.
Okay. So he that totally like whipped his ass into shape, because he got a gym business called Total Fitness. They would have crazy parties at night. Everything was going good. But then it says Britney thought they were on speed. And I'm like, did she mean then? Because she wasn't even born yet. Or is she talking like reflecting back? Like, it has to be reflecting back. Like,
I think that they just, even after she was born, I think they just
kept
would
doing
have
it, but
parties.
But when she's 10, 11, 12, 13, like, when do you learn what speed is?
I think she's reflecting back.
I think it's a reflection back.
Maybe they had pictures from parties and stuff, and everybody looked fucked up.
Cracked out. I don't know,
but yeah.
Just the way that she said it made it sound like she was there and witnessed it, and that was her thoughts at the time.
Or she's just trying to slander him. I don't know. Or her parents.
So, right after that, Mom opened a daycare with her aunt, and then Britney was born in 1981, and Mom never lets her forget that there was 21 hours of labor, which isn't even like that long.
That's pretty normal.
I think so too, especially for the 80s. They didn't have like anything to help push it out, like, you know. I don't know what they had, but I assume they didn't have like what's the stuff? Not an epidural, but the stuff that, what do they give? Pitocin. Pitocin makes you go into labor. I don't think they had that shit back then.
I had that with Isla. So.
I had that with Max, and I sat there in labor for 3 days. So that's why she says 21 hours. I'm like, motherfucker, I started Friday at 7, and this child was born Monday at 3. Yeah. So, no, 21 hours? Fuck off, Lynn Spears. Fuck off. So then her aunt had a cousin named Laura Lynn, and they were BFFs, which I think is so cute because Jamie Lynn, that's her sister.
It's
and
Jamie
so
Lynn.
Yeah, and she had Laura Lynn.
I remember that this Laura Lynn in the early 2000s she's the blonde, the little cousin. Well, they were the same age. But that she would go around Britney when her babies were little and stuff. And they would always hang out, Laura Lynn. I remember seeing her in the tabloids and stuff.
My gosh, how funny. I guess I didn't.
Yeah, no, that's the same Laura Lynn.
So then it goes over so then she jumps over and says that her mother, Lexi, was her great grandma, her mom's mom.
Yes.
Had 7 husbands, spoke super British, and her mother, Lexi, got into a car accident with Britney when Britney was like probably 7 or 8 or something, like not super young, not super old. And Lynn Spears would not let Britney like pretty much see her grandma anymore. And
because she said that she was getting senile. So that's what you just write off grandma when she gets old and senile. Like nobody takes care of grandma. It's like, oh, she's getting too old. You can't go. We can't see her anymore.
Yeah, that's kind of fucked up because to lose someone that was so close, because they used to do sleepovers together, and I guess they were really close.
Yeah, but you just.
And then you just throw her.
Dump grandma.
Yeah, and then you just dump grandma. Like
great grandma.
Like that had to be really hard on not only great grandma, but like Britney too, I would imagine. Like losing like one of your best friends at such a young age.
Yeah.
Fucking assholes.
Yeah, so they took away somebody else that she loved.
Yeah. Who?
the great grandma.
Oh, I thought
they're
you meant
like
somebody else.
No, I mean
again.
they're just constantly like from the beginning. It's just like
yeah,
you know they're already controlling her.
Yeah,
Is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's like they're already.
They're already like setting in stone that we control you. That we say, yeah. So she sang in a choir at church, dance classes 3 nights a week, and Saturdays. I'm like, well, then why wouldn't that be 4 nights a week or 4 days a week? Like, why?
Because she's not counting Saturday as a weekday.
So crazy. So, and then also gymnastics. She wanted to be a lawyer, but her teachers were like, no, you're going to be in Broadway or like show business.
Because her parents are like
Pushing her.
Just like with the basketball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, except this one's dancing and stuff. Sports.
Because she's a girl, so she's
a
gonna
girl.
be all cutesy.
She has to be gymnastics and ballet. She was only 3 years old at her first dance recital, and she had her first solo singing in a Christmas pageant at the age of 4, singing What Child Is This? She says that there's 2 sides to her. One side that she wanted to hide, and one side that loved entertaining. Anything else for chapter 2? That wraps up chapter 2.
No, not really. Just, well, the only other thing is that she used to try to get a lot of attention from her family. And one of the ways that she got attention is she would hide in the kitchen cabinets. And she would just randomly be the kid that would just be like, where's Britney? And then, like, everybody would be looking for her, like, Britney, Britney, Britney. And then she would just be, like, hiding in the kitchen cabinet all quiet like a little mouse. And then they'd find her. And it was just something that she would do over the years. Like, she would always hide in cabinets. You didn't say that, right?
I did not say that.
Okay, yeah.
Because I thought it was fucking stupid.
I just think, well, yeah, but it just shows.
Like, sorry, I just thought it was stupid.
Yeah, but think about it. It just shows how deprived she was if she had to, like, hide where they thought she was, like, missing.
Yeah, for attention.
Because her dad was probably always drunk. He didn't give her attention.
Yeah.
Probably the only time she had attention is when she was singing and dancing and performing.
Or when she was with her great-grandma Lexi.
Yeah, but they stopped that.
They
so
stopped
then she had to
that.
start
That's
hiding
not
in
okay.
cupboards.
Or she had to sing and dance like a fucking puppet. Ah.
Mm-hmm.
So, chapter 3, and this chapter is 3 pages. It is the shortest chapter, and it's, what?
I'm just laughing because it's 3 pages.
It's 3 pages for chapter 3.
And it's we should actually show, like, this is how widely spaced the...
Yeah, it's like very, and then like this page is blank. Like that's page 10, I think.
That's page 10. It's just a
Yeah.
blank page.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's page 16.
Yeah, but they all like...
I mean, it's the page in between the chapters, but
yeah.
they still count it as a number. It's weird. I would have skipped that over, and 17 would have been 16.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't have counted the blank page as a page
or
number.
you would have made it, I don't know. It would have been different.
So
weird. Anyways, I think it's just how her mind works, though, because, so then she goes into how when she was 4 years old, her brother got into a 4-wheel accident, like, head on, and she says, quoted from her book, "This seemed like a fantastic idea to them because they were idiots." And I, like, laughed out loud because I always call everybody idiots. I'm always like, you're a fucking idiot. To, like, everybody. Like, they're fucking idiots. And then for her to just be so open in her book and just be like, yeah, they're fucking idiots. So, obviously, that's why. Like, I'm dying. But it was sad. They hit head on, her brother and his friend, on quads. And Brian had to be airlifted to the hospital. He was in a full body cast. He broke almost every bone in his body. And then everybody was like swooning over him, and it was like Christmas every day for him. Like Lynn Spears would just always get him stuff, and you know, everybody had all the attention on him. So I'm sure Britney was like, what the fuck? So she started to sleep in bed with him, just was always with him and around him.
And he had a full body cast, and he had like a hospital bed. So they put like a little mattress at the foot of his bed to start.
Yeah, and then she would just go into bed with him. Mm-hmm. And then as she continued to share a bed for years afterwards, to the point where when she was in 5th grade, Lynn Spears said, you got to get out of his bed. And I did some math, and that means if she was going into 6th grade, so probably 5th to 6th grade, he was like 8th to 9th grade. Could you imagine a 14-year-old or a 15-year-old sleeping with their little sister?
It's
11-year-old? It's fucking weird, right? It's not just me.
It's
Tell me if you guys think it's weird.
It's cute if they're little. They're like the same age and they're like together.
Like a year or two apart or whatever. But once they hit like 6, 7, it's over.
At that point, it's just not appropriate anymore.
I don't even like my kids to share beds with each other. Like, I'm okay with the 7. I'm like kind of okay with the 7-year-old and the 3-year-old. But it kind of depends on their. I guess it depends on their personalities too.
Mm-hmm. Also, how big is the bed? If this is a little twin bed and they're sharing it, no. I mean, if her brother has like a king size bed and he, you know what I mean, there's room to spread out and stuff. I guess it's not as bad, but it's just weird.
It's weird because they're too old. They're separate. They're not the same size.
Like my kids are like 15 months apart, and they would never want to share a bed like that together. No. I mean, they would be like, get out of here. Like, they'd be like, when they were little even, they would like fight with each other and stuff. Yeah. They always had a bunk bed or their own beds. They even had their own toddler beds. I don't think they ever shared a bed.
No.
I mean, if we were watching a movie, we would all snuggle up together.
And maybe fall asleep or whatever. But yeah, like in my bed here, like, watch in like 3 hours, every kid will be in this bed and they'll be like this way and that way and zigzagging.
Yeah, I mean, that's normal.
Different, yeah, than, you know, like a 12-year-old, a 13-year-old, 14-year-old sleeping in the same bed with his little sister. I don't know.
I think also the reason why we're a little like, ugh, is because of the sexual abuse history in the family, in her family. Specifically with her grandfather. Mm-hmm. So it's making us feel like icky vibes, like
is it hereditary?
Like who knows? I don't know. Yeah, it's like ick.
So, anyways, and then she went on to a tangent about that she was in a parade and she was on a golf cart and she had a car in front of her. And it makes no sense to have it in this part of the chapter, this part of the book, this part of anything, because it has nothing to do with her brother. It has nothing to do with her family. She was on there with her friends in this parade in a golf cart, and she just kept crashing into the people in front of her. And that was it. There's no point to it.
No, the point is, I see the point. The point is...
You just try to defend Britney because you love Britney.
No, I'm not, but there is a point.
Okay, what is it?
She says... As my brother got better, we became heavily involved with the community. Since it was a small town of just a couple thousand people, everyone came out to support the 3 main parades a year. And then she goes into... Okay. Sorry about that. My daughter's
We're all like,
me.
we don't know what to do.
So that's why she talks about the parade. Because her brother got better, and the golf cart accident was while they were driving in a parade.
Yeah.
They crashed into the car in front of them, and then they got kicked out of the parade.
Yeah, but that's just how her brain is working, so she's not like... It's just...
It made sense to me.
It kind of came out of nowhere. It just went on a tangent thing to me. Like, it just went on a random...
No, she's talking about the parade.
No, I know, but the chapter was about her brother being in an accident, how she was all worried about him and all this stuff, and then she goes into, like, a parade.
And then she says, as my brother got better...
Yeah, I know that.
After talking about the incident.
Then, yay, we went to parades and stuff, but not, like, then it goes into detail about the... That's the problem, is that it goes into detail about that one specific situation, I guess. I don't know.
It just must be a core memory for her. I have no idea. But to me, it made sense to transition because of the community aspect.
Yeah, she did.
It's a community
transition, but it's almost like that was one of her writers that helped transition that, because she just had it be like so blunt, and she forgot the middle words.
Yeah, but a lot of the book is like that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It might be a hard read. Like,
the jumpy, not hard read, but just like very jumpy.
Not a hard read in the sense
really
like it's going to be an easy read because there's only 49 chapters.
And they're each like 2 pages.
There's only 275 pages. So it's going to be really, really fast. But it's hard read in the sense that like you have to follow along with
her going back and forth.
Her chaoticness.
Yeah.
She's a little chaotic, but...
Yeah.
This is Britney Spears, The Woman
I was just going to do that too.
Chapter 1 through 3. Which is a whopping...
It's a 20-something pages.
It is. How many pages is it? Oh my gosh. Wow. 20
pages. But it's all double spaced, and like it took us like 2 minutes to read it and 20 minutes to talk about it.
So let's look at my cute shirt. There's Brittany.
Oh, and I'm wearing a Mickey Mouse shirt because she was in the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
Yes, she was.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for listening and tuning in. And
if you've read Brittany's book, tell us what you think.
Tell us what you think about her brother and her sleeping in a bed together, or her crazy grandfather molesting her aunt, or her drunken father missing Christmas.
Or
tell us what you think.
2 grandmothers that were put in insane asylums and put on lithium, just like she was years later.
It's kind of like history
There's a
repeats.
pattern here. Break the family cycles, people.
Yes.
Break the ancestral curses.
Tell us what you think.
Cut the ties.
Yeah. Okay, good night.
Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe.
Yeah.
And
bye!